And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And yes, here we are again, another day committed to being your consumer advocate, helping you understand your buying decisions, making you more street smart here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And we want you to save our hotline number in your phone. At some point, you may need it at any point during the show. You know, you might hear some great nuggets of advice, some content that really strikes a chord with you. Save our hotline, 813-750-0550. Call or text the hotline, 813-750-0550. And also consumerqb.com, a plethora of information available for you on our website at consumerqb.com. Yeah, we want you to think about this show as the hub of your financial, your business wheel, especially your real estate wheel, your home services wheel. You know, all those spokes extending out, representing another one of our on-air expert contributors and local area businesses that, you know, right now is just a great time to support local area companies with everything happening in the world that you're seeing out there. Support the local economy by supporting these local companies here in Tampa Bay. We got a great lineup for you today as well. Michelle James is going to be back on the show, tax resolution specialist and a local CPA, Tax Pro of Tampa. She does a great job in all things tax and business strategy related. Very good content coming up as well. And we have Greg Bowman, the AC guy of Tampa Bay, in studio. And then on the phones, Victor from Chad Irrigation as well, going to be with us here. Before we jump into this content, I want to thank one of our sponsors here, Replenish IV Solutions, the science of nutritional balance. Shout out to Steve and Elisa Gunnan over at Replenish IV Solutions. I love going in there. Once every 3 or 4 weeks, I go in and get replenished. I get hooked up. The nurse hooks me up to a vitamin infusion drip, putting all those good vitamins and minerals, electrolytes, all the good stuff into your body, and it's absorbed, readily available, of course, directly into the bloodstream, much better than taking vitamins. So Replenish IV Solutions, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show. And we love to feature our real estate properties here on the show, so we got a couple of hot ones here we'd like to let you know about. Some properties here in Tampa Bay. I've got a bar for sale, by the way, a saloon. If anybody interested out there, it's a commercial property, 5402 U.S. Highway 92 out in Plant City. This is a bar for sale, the Finish Line Saloon. It's a cash cow. I just spoke to the owner, and she said it's kicking off a lot of cash every week. I believe she said between $10,000 and $13,000 recently. And a large percentage of that is cash as well. 5402 U.S. Highway 92, bar in Plant City available, really just the outskirts of Tampa, too. Great opportunity to own a local hotspot right here in Tampa Bay. And 1010 Bay Esplanade is a commercial residential property at 1010 Bay Esplanade on Clearwater Beach. This is a gorgeous residential property, single-family home with an apartment and a third-story sun deck with beautiful views overlooking the inner coastal waterways and all the best that Tampa has to offer. Check out all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw. In the house here. Welcome in, my friend.
Thanks, Brandon. It's great to be back in.
Yes, sir. Good to have you. Good to have you. AC guy of Tampa Bay, local business owner, family-run business.
Correct, yeah.
Awesome.
My daughter is in the office. She's actually, though, out of country right now, so she took a little break and is doing a little traveling, but hopefully
Cool.
She'll be back in a few weeks.
Awesome. And hopefully she didn't have to have a vaccine passport like they're talking about now.
Yeah, well, she left like a week or two ago and didn't have to then, so I don't know how it'll be. I mean, she did have to get tested, and prove, have results. So I guess that's technically the same.
Yeah, well,
type of thing,
they're pushing for harder stuff from what I hear.
Yeah,
but hopefully not. I heard a rumor. I'm not sure if it's true. I haven't fact checked this, so don't come at me. But the Israel, I heard in Israel, you have to have proof of a vaccine to even buy groceries now.
Is that right?
Somebody told me, one of these patriot groups I'm a part of and I go to occasionally. But also we got on the line Victor from Chad Irrigation. Hey, Victor.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm doing well. How about yourself, man?
Good. Enjoying the heat.
That's right. The heat's coming back. So both Greg was talking about it before the show. You're talking about it. When you look at this time of year, people are reaching out more and more. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Everybody forgot that they need their irrigation all year long in Florida. And once it gets hot, everything starts dying or wilting. Then they realize it's broke.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, I better call Victor from Chad Irrigation. He's going to have him come out and look at my irrigation system. Talk about some of the irrigation systems you have, my friend.
So we have multiple different kinds. We can repair wells. We have systems hooked up to city water. We're trying to move towards saving city water, so it saves people money on their water bill every month. We have systems that pull off of lakes, hook up to reclaim water. There's all kinds of different stuff. There's water saving systems that, you can save a swimming pool worth of water if you put in everything low volume. It's just a good way to save a lot of money and save water.
And what's recommended when you water your lawn? I'm a little confused on that still myself as a homeowner. What's overdoing it? What's good? What do you recommend?
Every yard is a little different. Most cities and counties have ordinances where you can only water once a week or twice a week. Depends on your type of spray heads you're using, the applications that you're spraying your lawn with. Certain heads need to run for 45 minutes. Certain heads need to run for 30 minutes. And it just depends on your yard. You might have a yard that needs to run for 50 minutes or an hour versus 45 because your yard dries out. You don't have a lot of shade. So every yard is a little different, and you set everything up to like industry standards, what the company says their equipment is supposed to work best at.
Right.
And then after that, then you just learn the yard.
Right, just kind of see what works for you, what kind of reaction you get from the different type of grass, because each different type of sod is going to require probably a little bit different too.
Yep, St. Augustine likes more water than, say, like zoysia. Zoysia grass is a lot more drought tolerant, so you don't have to use as much water.
Good, yeah. And the system we put on our property it's a kind of a unique. You're able to go into the lake water and pull out the lake water and save you money on the city water.
Correct. Yeah, we can put if you have nearby lakes, like if you're on Lake Tarpon, we can always put pumps and filters and stuff and pull the water off Lake Tarpon, and then you don't have to pay for the water.
And that's a huge advantage. Huge advantage for homeowners. And also just in general, like real estate, we're talking with Chad Irrigation here, Victor on the line, and real estate market. I love to get different perspectives from different people, but right now, what are your friends saying? What are people in the industry saying? What are you seeing out there real estate wise?
That the houses are selling as fast as possible. A lot of our customers are selling. I have customers that, put up houses for, $1.5 million and got 5 hits before the house even was really on the market. They're selling as fast as they can get onto the market.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially even, if you have like a special feature like a canal front or waterfront bay access, pool home. Right. I mean, people are overpaying. We just talked to, on yesterday's show, we talked with Ray Hall from Ray Hall Appraisals, and he was saying how, and also Diane Vance, Fairway Independent Mortgage, was talking about how just 2 or 3, they cited specific cases where one appraisal came in $350,000 less than the actual sales price, and of course that deal can't go through unless somebody makes it that difference or they negotiate. And Ray had one, I think, with $200,000 less. So yeah, you see those types of situations, and just think if people didn't have the appraiser. Sometimes they want to beat up on the appraiser, right? But at least that appraiser is saving them all that extra overpayment. I mean, $350,000.
Yeah, people are pricing houses because they think that they're trying to cash in right now. So everybody's.
Yeah.
I read an article the other day. They said a house went on the market for $400,000, and they had 122 offers.
Oh wow!
On one house.
Yeah, I saw that. I think I saw that one too. That was interesting. That's wow. We see some of that as well. But well, Chad Irrigation, Victor here. Thanks so much for spending some time with us. I know you're busy out there. On Facebook, find the best places. Find them on Facebook if you're looking to add some irrigation to your properties. Chad Irrigation on Facebook. And also, we got your number here, 727-938-3724 if you want to reach out directly, 727-938-3724. 3724 is the number for Victor and his team. Victor, thanks for spending some time with us, man.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.
Take care. Talk to you soon. All right, Victor, Chad Irrigation, they do a great job on our real estate properties, and I can tell you from firsthand experience, they're a first-class organization, did a great job. All right, Greg, back to you. So, the heat is starting to heat up. People are calling on their lawns. They're also going to be ringing the phones even more with their ACs.
Yeah, most definitely. We've definitely, had a few days where the temperatures climbed in the upper 80s, and our phone always lights up when that happens. But then, of course, it cooled back down a little bit, so it's been kind of back and forth. But we're only a few weeks away from when we hit that high 80s all the time, and then it's go for 4 to 6 months, whatever it is, till we get that little cool reprieve again. So, it's that time of year where my guys know it's coming, and they're like, "Oh man, can we just have a few more weeks before we have to go crazy?"
And then you get in midsummer and you start thinking, "Man, when's that first cold front going to hit?"
Oh, I know. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
When is it normally? Is it late September, early October in that range? Or
yeah, I want to say like October. It's rare to see it in September, but in October we usually start to see it. But yeah, it's funny because in our business it really slows down like November, December-ish. We've been going hard all summer, so we love that first slowdown. But then January rolls around, February rolls around, and it's still kind of slow. And then we're starting to think, I need a few more hours. I'd like to, have a few more calls. And then, of course, when the calls come, I wish it would slow down. So it's,
yeah, exactly. So. You schedule, at least when you can schedule a vacation, right?
Correct. Yeah, we can go away in the off season.
Yeah, there you go. That's awesome. All right, stay with us. We're going to take a quick break here. Greg Bowman, the AC guy of Tampa Bay, acguyoftampa.com. We'll be right back after this short break. Plus, coming up, our feel-good story of the day. State trooper surprises 9-year-old boy with Steph Curry sneakers. Stay with us. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here, owner of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. Also, your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show right here on AM 860 The Answer. Residential listings in Hillsborough County, giving you your market update. Latest data here from the Mid-Florida Regional MLS. In January, the inventory went down again. 2292 in January, down to February, 1963 units available. Inventory's down. Residential sales are up. So in January, 1798 properties were available for sale. And if you take that number into February, 2,015 properties have sold. The absorption rate is 97.4%, and it's a 1.03 months supply of inventory. Again, a strong seller's market. So if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest, right now would be a great time for move-up buyers, by the way, because you're taking advantage of less inventory. Also, at higher price points, you have less competition. So reach out. We'd love to talk to you. 813-750-0550. Call or text our hotline, 813-750-0550. And for all of our listings, you can see platinummvpteam.kw.com. That's platinummvpteam.kw.com. And if you'd like more information about our radio and TV show, you can go to consumerqb.com. That's consumerqb.com. Make it a great day. Please go out there and do something kind for one another and perform a random act of kindness. We'll see you next time.
My friends, when choosing a listing agent to sell your home, their track record is critically important. Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Real Estate. They're consistently rated by the MLS in the top 1% of all Tampa Bay realtors, and that's a big deal. Brandon and Lindsay are always among the top realtors in the state. Call them today at 813-750-0550.
Find them at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us here. Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty. We always like to help you win in your real estate deals if you're buying, selling, or investing. Top 1% ranked realtor team out of 25,000 realtors in Tampa Bay. We're in the top 200, so we'd love to help you with your real estate properties. We've got a hot one here, commercial opportunity right here in Tampa, 1602 East MLK. This is Gill's Body Shop, available for sale. This is a corner lot location right here in Tampa. And the business has been operating for 45 years. So he's ready to retire and has a lot of repeat business, people seeking him out. Very popular around town, too, as I've talked to different people. Gill's Body Shop, 1602 East MLK. A great opportunity here in beautiful Tampa Bay. Listed just under $500,000 for that property. We got 801, 803 East Palm Avenue. This is a property that's available for sale, and it is a apartment slash rental. So you've got a hostel, kind of a daily rental type scenario. 801 and East Palm Avenue, 803, and also 1905 Taliaferro, North Taliaferro is available. Those are three properties side by side. Great buying opportunities here in beautiful Tampa Bay. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, back in studio here, Greg Bowman, AC guy in Tampa Bay. Greg, one of the biggest concerns we see as well is a lot of times health, and you do a great job with keeping up with some of the latest stuff happening in the indoor air quality space. Mm-hmm. What are you seeing in that space, my friend?
Well, indoor air quality is really a hot topic, has been for a while, and COVID certainly put a microscope look at that because people are very concerned about that. But there's a lot you can do, and a lot of people don't realize that, but with your air conditioning system, most central air conditioning systems operate on the principle of moving air around in the house. So they're the perfect candidate for cleaning that air. So there's a host of products that we can use to do that, to basically clean and scrub your air. The EPA has identified basically 3 indoor air quality danger areas, particulates being number one, which everybody would think about, dust and dander and dust mites and pet hair, all that kind of thing. Then the other areas are volatile organic compounds. That would be like the off-gassing of furniture, that formaldehyde that comes off of it, that new carpet smell. We like that smell, but it's really a chemical that's not the best for our lungs.
They even make it a spray now, I think.
Yeah,
Have you seen that?
The spray is healther than the actual thing.
Oh, I bet.
But and then the third danger area is biologicals, the mold, the mildew. We're all familiar with the black mold thing. But all 3 of those areas we can treat with your air conditioning system by attaching products to that. Filtration systems, UV air scrubbers, UV air cleaners that will attack all 3 of those areas and work to clean the air up in your home. The EPA says that the home inside our air, the air inside our homes, let's say that the right way, is about 5 times more polluted than outdoor air.
Wow.
So, especially as we have built our homes better and better, in 70s energy crisis changed construction standards and we started making our homes tighter and tighter. So the newer the home, the more at risk it is for indoor air quality issues because we're not getting good ventilation through that home. We're making them energy tight, trapping all that air inside, but then that air gets stagnant, stale, and any pollutants that get trapped inside the home cannot get out of the home. So the newer the home, actually, the more important it is to do something about the indoor air quality.
Yeah, absolutely. And what can you do about it? What kind of systems do you offer for that?
It depends on what the danger area is that we determine is the most critical. For example, particulates with the dust and the dirt, there are filtration systems up to full hospital grade HEPA filtration systems that can remove those particulates. If it's a biological, like molds or mildews, then there are ultraviolet lights that use the same wavelengths that the sun generates, but in a concentrated form to disrupt the DNA of those biologicals and sterilize them, kill them. The volatile organic compounds, the chemicals in the air, using the same UV technology, that UV can be used with a catalyst to generate oxide ions or peroxide ions, which will actually neutralize those chemicals. So there are different processes we can use depending on what the concern is or what we've got to go after in the home.
Yeah, it seems like indoor air quality would be a big one for people Especially talk about a little bit about the real estate transaction too, because you get under contract in a real estate transaction, and then we have the inspections. Mm-hmm. What are some of the common things that people see that come up during that inspection?
For us, the biggest thing that we see that we get involved in a real estate inspection is when the system hasn't been taken care of, and then you've got all kinds of issues going on. So I think that's, as far as what we see, that's the biggest thing. Now, sometimes you run into other things. Occasionally, we've been called in because of mold growing on the unit or something like that. But even that is usually a symptom of a unit that may have not been taken care of, because poorly maintained system can be more likely to have that kind of thing happen. So I would say the biggest thing, if anybody is looking to sell their home, before you get into that process, get a professional out there and make sure your air conditioner is taken care of in good, clean order. It's much easier to deal with that before the inspector points it out to your potential buyer than after. Right. Much, save you a lot of headache in the transaction if you do that up front.
Yeah. And if you just joined us, we're talking with Greg Bowman, the AC guy of Tampa Bay, longtime friend of the program, acguyoftampa.com, local, another great example, local area business owner, entrepreneur, here in Tampa Bay. Support the local economy is one of the biggest themes of this show, and it's always about being that consumer advocate, helping you understand your buying decisions here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. So Greg is a great example of that as a consumer advocate here in Tampa Bay. So we talk about, taking care of the system that takes care of you, right? We've said something similar on the show.
We like to say love your air conditioner so it can love you back.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing worse than July, 90 degrees outside and 100% humidity, and your air conditioner decides to let you down and leave you hot.
Boom.
You don't want that.
AC guy of Tampa Bay.
Worst time of the year for that to happen. So if you give your machine a little attention, we have a great program for that called our VIP program, where we come out twice a year and go through your system, make sure everything's clean and operating well, and that there's no potential problems developing. You do that kind of maintenance for your system, give it that kind of love. It's a much better likelihood then that when it's 90 degrees outside, your machine's not going to let you down, and you don't have to worry about it. Plus, if you do get into the situation where you got to replace, this is something we should probably talk about. A lot of people think, well, I can just get one more year out of this machine. I know it's old. I know I got to replace it. The worst time to replace that machine is in the middle of the summer. Every air conditioning contractor is busy. Your negotiation power with them is lower because they're too busy already.
Good point.
So if you're thinking that your machine's getting older and it's time to replace, it's best to look at doing that in the off season. Coming from our perspective in our business, we're much more likely to wheel and deal, so to say, in the off season when we need to fill jobs than we are in July and August when we can't keep up with what we've got.
That's right. Yeah, December, January, like you said earlier, it's probably an opportune time.
Yeah. And actually, we've got a few weeks left yet, probably before we get into the heat of the season. So if you're thinking you might make it one more year, maybe you ought to just pull the trigger and do it. You got that tax rebate maybe coming back. There are still some great manufacturers' incentives out there too, so it's a great time of year to still do it.
I think we mentioned this before. Who's the top carrier, or how much does the name brand matter?
I used to be a believer in using a name brand. There are basically about 5 big name brands, but I'm not a believer in that anymore. I think they're pretty much all the same. They all buy their parts from the same place. They just assemble them. The most important factor, I believe, is the warranty. We've done some studies with some of the industry organizations we're a part of and determined that, what does it cost to maintain and repair an air conditioning system over its life? And a system with a poor warranty, you can spend $4,000 to $5,000 in repairs on that system, which is essentially, what you put in to buy the machine in the first place, just to keep it lasting for 10 to 12 to 15 years. So getting a unit that has a parts and labor warranty when you buy it, so that $4,000 to $5,000 disappears, it's worth a little bit extra.
Awesome. Great tips. Greg Bowman, AC Guy of Tampa Bay. Appreciate you coming in, my friend.
Thanks, Brandon.
acguyoftampa.com is the website. And coming up, Michelle James, our tax resolution specialist, tax pro of Tampa. Talk about strategies. I know sometimes we say tax, people are like, I'm not that interested. You want to hear what she's going to talk about. We're talking about strategy here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We'll be right back after this short break. Don't go anywhere.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator. and owner of the Black Swan Group, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show hosted by my friend Brandon Ryan.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Yep, let me know when you're ready.
All right. Here we go. We got 24 minutes on the clock.
Just in case you get scratchy.
Two segments here. Back to back, 2 segments. We did an hour the other day, so this will be easier.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. We love to help you win. Buying, selling, or investing. We also like to feature our real estate properties live on air on our show, the Consumer Quarterback Show, 1780 Clearwater Largo Road. This is a corner lot, a commercial building. Great opportunity right here in Pinellas County on a major thoroughfare, 1780 Clearwater Largo Road, commercial building. It's a large open-air style building. Great opportunity to buy and invest in real estate, commercial real estate, that is, right here in Tampa Bay. 202 Southwest Shore Boulevard. This is a lot that's available in South Tampa. Vacant lot available in South Tampa. There's not very many of them. And this is a corner lot close to Kennedy and West Shore. So great opportunity, great location. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. Somewhere sunny and 75. All right, this segment is brought to you by the beautiful Bilmar Beach Resort on Treasure Island. Check out our beach hotel partner, Treasure Island, the beautiful Bilmar Beach Resort. Clyde Smith, the general manager over there, does a great job. Of course, they're managing the COVID-19, all the different protocols in place. They do a great job there. 2 pools on site, Sloppy Joe's Beach Bar and Restaurant, and just a great place to go enjoy, relax, and unwind and live this beautiful Tampa Bay lifestyle here. Bilmar Beach Resort, longtime friends of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Book online directly at BilmarBeachResort.com. BilmarBeachResort.com. Make sure you let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. Take them up on those special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, we have Michelle James back in studio. Welcome back, Michelle.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for coming in. All right, tax resolution specialist, Tax Pro of Tampa. She's an attorney and a CPA right here in Tampa Bay. So I kind of teased them before you came in. I said, we've got some tax strategy, some business strategy coming for you.
We do.
Yeah. So, yeah, you look at let's first kind of look macro and come in micro here, macro first, micro. When you look at the economy, and, we've talked about this before too, the printing of money, Janet Yellen, they're even floating an idea of a global corporate tax rate, which is, kind of a weird idea. What macro wise, and then we'll kind of come in a little closer. What do you see happening on a larger scale?
Corporate rates are already high as it is.
Yeah.
Right. I do think for our smaller entities, our S corps, I don't think will be affected as much.
Okay.
However, definitely on a greater scale, or bigger entities, or Amazons or Googles, I definitely see them probably getting affected by that tax rate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're making a lot of money, so they should pay and kind of support, and then they're also creating a lot of jobs.
Yes.
So you get that on the flip side.
And they get tons of credits. They get tons of tax credits. They
Right.
get tax credits for keeping the staff, for moving into opportunity zones,
Right.
for providing all the jobs. So they certainly get enough credits too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's interesting. So the macro is kind of looking like that. Hopefully, they're spending so much money. They're also floating another $2 trillion spending bill, which is, again, under the guise of COVID. But how many trillions of dollars do we need to spend on this stuff?
I mean, I think even just over the past week, right, as they have brought out the whole vaccine and they've made it available, I certainly see us getting ready to open back up.
Yeah.
So I don't see too much more funding coming.
Yeah.
As far as, the bailout or to help and to assist outside of the EIDL that just reopened again on April 6th with new numbers. So they're making the loans instead of, 50% of the year operating expenses. Now they're giving up to 20% of that. So it, 4 times as much. So instead of 50%, you're now looking at 200% of that, right? So loans are going to be up to $500,000 now.
Wow.
Right. And so while there are some companies that can use that and make a difference, there are many rules with it. There, you can't really go out and really buy additional, properties, or you can't go out and, do just anything. You really cannot add on. You can't even move.
Okay.
One of the stipulations is that you're not even supposed to move from the actual location, right?
Okay.
And pretty much like a mortgage, right? Any fast moves they can recall that loan at any given time.
Right. So they want you to use it more for payroll,
for payroll, upgrading, getting, operating safely, extending on the property, but certainly not buying additional property.
Okay. And this is for which loan program is that?
This is the EIDL, the EIDL, the Economic
EIDL.
Industry Development Disaster Loan.
Okay. Yeah, so that makes sense. You know, there's some common sense there, I believe, behind that. When you look at business owners, and we by the way, if you haven't seen, Michelle and I did a great video just about a week ago. If you go to our YouTube channel, Brandon Rhymes Real Estate, I believe is the name of the channel. You can find it. We've got over 1,200 videos there, but we did about an hour or more, I think maybe even closer to an hour and 15 minutes. We did a really deep dive into tax strategy and different corporate entities and structures. We covered a lot of ground in that, audits and whatnot, but I just want to mention that. So check out the YouTube channel if you want more information. Of course, you can reach out to the show. ConsumerQB.com is the website, and our hotline, 813-750-0550. And you might want to do that as well. Save that number, 813-750-0550, because we can also offer a review. Michelle will offer to do a review for you and kind of take a look at your previous up to 3-year history of what you've done. Maybe you got some holes in your boat. You're rolling down the river there, but you got a couple of holes. You're slowly sinking, but you don't know it, right?
Absolutely. I will definitely honor that, yes.
Perfect. Yeah, so reach out to the hotline if you'd like to get a review. You can text that line as well, 813-750-0550, and get a review with Michelle James, tax resolution specialist right here in Tampa Bay, taxprooftampa.com. Now, what else is topical? What do you see as kind of like, you know, the next thing? We said micro, coming in more micro here, but for local business owners on a local level, what do you think is some good advice right now for them?
Good advice. You know, I believe if we can all make it out of this season, we'll be okay.
Right.
For those who were, you know, or who were able to obtain funding and kind of hold on during this time, I think we're in for some big things, right? I think as this economy reopens, that we're going to see, I mean, look at our real estate. You know, Tampa for one, right? We're overbidding on properties. We are, you know, so of course, I believe that there will be some increase in prices as we go along as well. So I do think we'll see some inflation.
Yep.
But, you know, I think if we hold down and we make sure we're revisiting, make sure you're talking to your accountant, because just in case you need to kind of revise those numbers that you once had on that cost of goods that you have, you might need to make some changes because everything else is going up. So, yeah, that's definitely, I think, important for business owners to understand that maybe the way you once operated, you can no longer do so. Just even as a contractor, right? I had a job that I wanted to start 2 months ago, and he's like, listen, the materials are up now. And so what you were going to pay here is not what you're going to pay now.
Exactly.
So, absolutely. Yeah. And knowing that that is going to affect your business.
Yeah, absolutely. So stuff sitting on the shelves, even in the, you know, the Home Depot, for example, plywood, everything's going up. So if you're bidding a job, I even heard a story of a friend who's building a new construction home with the builder that just has basic floor plan. There're not a whole lot of changes you can do. It's just more of a, you know, that type of builder you walk in, yeah, we'll build you this model type of home. They said they stopped doing it that way. They said, no, we're not selling them like that anymore. We're going to build them, spec them out, and then sell it at the market price 6-8 months down the road, because they were tired of seeing the contracts get upside down.
Correct. And that's exactly what they're doing. Yeah. I know Lennar Builders for one.
Yeah.
Because we're currently purchasing a property out there, and only when you have signed your contract and made your deposit do they go and break ground.
Yeah.
You know, so you're having to put that money up front even before you see anything now.
Yeah, cost of goods. So we talked about that. And then, and also with things opening back up, luckily, you know, in Florida, you know, wow, we've had such a great run here. We've been looking at a nice business environment. And I think especially now with the vaccines, more and more people vaccinated. And then also about half people were, you know, 20 to 30% of people already had the virus and have worked themselves through it naturally. So it's you know, we're kind of opening back up. But there is some money available out there, this EIDL.
Correct. The EIDL is available. The PPP is probably starting to phase itself out. So for those of you who need to apply, want to apply, I urge that you act now. And that's the payroll replacement funds. And those funds are forgivable. the EIDL is not a forgivable loan. They're not offering the grant at this time. Initially, when they opened, they were offering that $10,000 grant, so they're not offering the grant at this point. And, it is at 3.75%. You can't really beat that interest rate.
Cool.
SBA is guaranteeing that, as well as it's over 30 years.
Cool. That's good stuff. Talk to me about SBA. Have you done a lot with the SBA, Small Business Administration?
Over the past couple of months, yes. Tons of applications. Yeah. One of the problems that we're actually now seeing is clients are getting rejected on the loan because the 4506T, which is to confirm that your tax return has been filed, cannot be verified at the IRS because the IRS is delayed in processing.
Oh, great.
Right. So actually just got a decline letter, and the reason is 2019 could not be verified. But we have documentation showing that that was transmitted July of 2020.
I remember, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
No, just July of 2020, which means it's almost 9 months maybe, and it still has not been posted to the transcript.
Wow. I was first introduced to that form back when I started my mortgage lending career, and we had to get the 4506T for the bank, the underwriter, because sometimes, people would, just like an old report card. I remember one of the kids got caught changing their C to an A or whatever, or a B in a report card. People would fudge their returns or their W-2 and make it look good, but they'd send it to the loan officer, and so they caught wind of that. So that 4506T allows you to pull directly from the IRS to verify that John Smith is saying he made this much money on his W-2, and he actually did. Yeah, but again, the problem is the IRS is not posting the tax returns. Wow. They're severely delayed. I mean, you see it all in the news. So you're like, well, what do you do now, right? If you're in the process of getting a mortgage and the IRS cannot prove that the 2019 has been filed just because they haven't posted it. Wow. I also think what we're going to see as a backlash from that is when they do post it, what's the date, that they're actually going to apply those penalties and interest back to, right? Oh, wow. Is it the date that they've posted it or the date that they actually received it from the preparers? Interesting. Yes, I think we're going to see some backlash from that. Not sure what, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be a mess because it usually is. Backlash and audits. That's our theme for the next thing. I want to ask you, with all this increase in spending, when we come back, I want to ask you more about audits and what's going to happen with audits and what's the IRS, what are they going to do? Are they going to be hiring more agents to collect money because they've been spending a lot of money, and the government, I say they, the government in general has been, trillions of dollars over and over. How is that going to affect things? So audits, I'm going to ask you that question when we come back. More with Michelle James, tax resolution specialist here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Plus our feel-good story of the day. State trooper surprises a 9-year-old boy with Steph Curry sneakers. Stay with us. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
This is Warwick Dunn, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
My friends, when choosing a listing agent to sell your home, their track record is critically important. Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of Platinum MVP Team at Keller Williams Real Estate. They're consistently rated by the MLS in the top 1% of all Tampa Bay realtors, and that's a big deal. Brandon and Lindsay are always among the top realtors in the state. Call them today at 813-750-0550.
Find them at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Selling commercial or residential property? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP Team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rhymes. Reach me at 813-670-7372 or platinummvpteam.com.
My name is James DeJerome, and I produce the Consumer Quarterback Show for Brandon Rhymes. The Consumer Quarterback Show is a team, a group of like-minded professionals who partner together to provide our audience sound advice, knowledge, and information to make them wiser consumers. We work with all types of business owners and aggressively promote our local economy. We're currently conducting interviews for our expert contributors. If you own a business or know someone who would benefit from the exposure our show provides, please contact us at 813-750-0550 or online at consumerqb.com.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, helping you win in any marketplace. Consumer Quarterback Show. And every day we like to tell you something good.
Tell me something good.
All right, we got a state trooper here. Surprises 9-year-old boy with Steph Curry sneakers. Pretty cool story out of Delaware. The state trooper surprised the kid with a Golden State Warrior star, Stephen Curry. And Trooper Joshua Morris often plays basketball against a youth in his area who challenge him. In a recent video, Morris went viral with help from his biggest fan, 9-year-old Rakir Allen. Morris says he was drawn to Allen's spirit. He's quoted as saying, his charisma, his character, I just loved it, said Morris. So Morris got in touch with Allen's mother and surprised him with a pair of Curry sneakers. And our video's gone viral because of you. He says, Morris says to Allen, you're the best hype man ever. And Morris believes that cops should never be strangers to the communities they serve. And he has said that Allen's the sneakers meant so much more. When he laces up those sneakers, he has someone who believes in him. He has someone who loves him, and he has someone that will be kind to him, Morris said. So there's our feel-good story of the day. Awesome stories. We love that feel-good segment on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Michelle James here in studio, tax resolution specialist. So going back to our kind of looming question there is, what do you think is going to happen with audits?
I definitely think we'll see an increase in audits. So the IRS can audit within 3 years of you filing. Okay. So if you're just filing your 2015, they can still audit that. Right. If you're just filing your 2015, you can still get audited 3 years from now.
Wow. Okay.
Right. So it is not when the tax return was due. It's actually when you actually file that return.
Yeah.
So I do believe that we'll see a lot more questions, verifications. Again, all those, PPP loans where people generated 940s and W-2s and W-3s to apply. I do believe that they'll be looking for some reconciliation of that. So I do see definitely way more audits coming.
Have you heard or seen that they're hiring more agents to try to go out and collect?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they are.
Because I think I remember hearing that back
aggressive.
in the day. Yeah.
They're very aggressive right now.
Wow.
They are still, so as of, they have actually started back collecting. Put it like that. Okay, so they had kind of, seized a little bit and kind of given taxpayers a little bit of a break if they requested it. It was not an automatic break.
Okay.
But if you had requested during COVID a break to not pay those tax liabilities, the IRS did do that. Yesterday, I actually had another client call in with a hardship case, and they did honor it. So they are still being somewhat lenient. But that was $1,000 payment a month. So I can see that being a squeeze on anyone that, typically just goes to work every day, right? That's just a bad.
What is a hardship for those that may not know, or, how do you declare a hardship?
So the IRS computes hardship if we can show them proof that whatever we are spending more than we're actually getting in.
Okay.
So pretty much, same business showing a loss pretty much as an individual. If we can show more going out than we can show coming in, then the IRS will consider that a hardship and they will give you some leeway. Now, we can't say, meals are, my meals are $100 a day because you eat out every day.
Yeah.
There are minimum requirements for certain things like that, and there are allowances that are given.
Got it.
So outside of your mortgage, car notes and things like that, there are allowances for meals.
Now, some people have, I don't know if they have a strategy with this, but some people say, they don't pay their taxes right away. They wait, like you mentioned, if somebody hasn't filed since 2018 or whatever, a few years back. What's the pros and cons of that? Because you're still accumulating interest on that, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's not a strategy.
It is not a good strategy at all.
Some people, I've heard that over the years. They're like, I wait and I pay it and I do this. I just don't understand.
So what they do is they'll jump on TurboTax and they'll prep it and they'll get the this big scare like, oh my God, right?
Yeah.
And so they're like, I just decided not to file that year. And of course, that just keeps happening year after year.
Yeah.
They're 3-4 years in. The IRS will accept the last 6 years if we file it as considering you complete. So and that's, of course, if there is nothing viable on your transcript, right? So you can't really have, $300,000 1099 deals on your transcript prior to the 6 years and think that they're going to just let that go. But if there's nothing viable, they'll accept the most recent six years returns and consider you current.
Okay. And if you just joined us, we're talking with Michelle James here. She's an attorney and a CPA right here in Tampa Bay, Tax Pro of Tampa, tax resolution specialist here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. What other strategies do you think are topical right now? What other, in the past we've talked about, that residential or maybe real estate person or mortgage person, then, they've got one PA or an LLC set up. But then there's other businesses that may go hand in hand where you could set up other strategies, other entities rather, and kind of
understanding how to really use those LLCs, right? How to use those companies.
Okay.
I think even what some people are unaware of, like, did we all know that in a sole proprietor type of entity, we can put in up to $56,000 in our 401k account, right? And then turn around and take the deduction in a year.
Wow.
So now, when you start talking about what can be sheltered and how, well, that's huge.
Yeah.
And that particular person can also include their spouse. Now, there are rules. You can't have any employees and things like that. It does have to be a sole owner.
Okay.
But that's huge, right?
Yeah.
There are so many things that we can do if we are worried about what the cash is when it's coming in, what's going to happen, because there are tons of vehicles. And I tell people this all the time. There are tons of vehicles that we can use to reduce tax liability without calling it a loss.
Right, like an IRA.
And an IRA is a great vehicle. 401ks, FSAs, HSAs. Also, a big one is a lot of times when these people are working on these W-2s, the reason they're owing is because of that W-4 that they completed, right? That tells the company how to tax.
Right.
Tweak those W-4s.
Change it to more dependents.
Change it to having more taxes withheld, because by the end of the year, you were paying so much in penalties and interest, and here you are on a fixed income, right?
Yep.
Considered fixed because it's a W-2.
Right.
You're not a business owner, so it doesn't really fluctuate one month better than the other.
Yeah.
And you're going to find yourself in tax trouble if you don't tweak those W-2s and get them in line with what you are actually doing. There are people who will fill out the same W-2 and now their kids have aged out 2-3 years ago.
Uh-oh.
And they're still claiming the kids, but the kids are now on their own. So that's another big one that I see all the time. And I'll tell people, tweak those W-2s. If you're collecting Social Security and you have a pension, start withholding the taxes.
There you
the
go.
taxes aren't going to go anywhere. And yes, it's unfortunate we work all our lives and we're still paying taxes, because I hear it all the time.
Yeah.
And there's nothing I can do to help you.
Can't get away from it. That's right.
I cannot help you. I get it. You don't think that your Social Security should be taxed, but it is once there's additional income.
That's right. All right. Hey, great information. Thanks so much, Michelle. We appreciate you. TaxProofTampa.com. Visit her online, taxprooftampa.com. And we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community. And we'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.